Top of the morning, folks. Chris Rockwell here. It is March 9th, Saturday morning. It's 4 something. I don't know what time it is exactly, but it's early morning, and look who my homie is, my buddy Bradley. He's just hanging out and always by my side. He's got my back. He's in his cushy dog bed. Look at that, you guys. I mean, that is just that's doing it. That's doing it right. So this is the office, and hey, man, this is a whole new era now. So I just wanted to give you guys a kind of a quick hello and good morning. I've sent some old videos out. It was kind of cool going through them and just to kind of get a feel for like where my head was at 5 years ago. You know, the crazy thing is, the more I kind of reviewed the old videos I had on YouTube as I'm building out the channel finally, you know, it's actually kind of crazy how similar and timely my message was 5 years ago, and the things I was talking about just in terms of technology and what's coming down the pipeline with AI and the economy and just kind of the world affairs, you know, like the trends. And I was pretty spot on. So it's I think it's a credit not to my, being able to see the future. It has to do with a lot of homework. I put a lot of time into trying to understand what's going on and filter through lots of different sources, not mainstream media, folks. I only watch clips of that from smart people who can filter out and condense like the nonsense and stupidity that's going on. It's being fed to the masses basically by owned media companies that are owned and controlled media platforms that are controlled by really bad people. You can call them all different kinds of names. You can throw out some big names, world dominant like bankers and all that stuff. And the answer is yes. And using it for their own, manipulating the world for their gain. So anyone who's watching mainstream media in today's world are really behind the 8 ball. And I think, what's exciting too, what's inspiring to a person like me is that I'm watching so many great, awesome young people, a lot of black kids, a lot of minorities, speaking their mind and doing it creatively, having fun, but actually caring about their world. And I hadn't seen that a lot in past generations as much. They were a little bit more like my generation. I'm a Gen X kid. We were obsessed with technology. That's all we cared about in progress, so that's why we're all burned out and divorced and and doing videos like this. Just like, don't do it, dude. Don't do it. It's not what you think it is. It's not what they're selling. It's really cool though. What I'm inspired by also are people who, in this day and age, people I grew up with, who actually grew up valuing the family construct more than getting rich and chasing their own ego and trying to show the world how awesome they are, and sophisticated. So my heart always kind of gets warmed when I see an old friend, guy or girl who takes family serious and takes care of themselves and their family and focused on kids and just each other, and the people around them, actually putting effort into this life, man, and not just blaming and being bitter or just feeling behind all the time and not grateful for what's in front of them. I spent a lot of time in those worlds, Silicon Valley and Seattle and LA and New York, where people are super important and they take themselves really seriously and their families are fucking disasters. They're rich, but they're disasters. So Um, you know, I, I'm collateral damage, and it's taken me a long time to kind of figure out what in the hell happened with the speed of and the ferocity of those hyper competitive worlds of business and sports and just sick thinking is what it I realized is really what it is, kind of wrapped up in a pretty little package with a bow on it, but it's deceptive, man. And the reality is most people who wake up this morning are part of that group, even if they're not in Silicon Valley, even if they're working just a crappy job going nowhere. It's an attitude. It's not white collar. It's not blue collar. It's not red. It's not blue. It's an attitude. Both sides have it. Both sides can be super just full of self and, self-seeking and just selfish. So, what's the secret? What's the problem with our world? Selfishness, man. Fuck. Just selfishness and wrapped up in being convinced that it's not. So, you know, we all have our path, but I just know that I'm happy that I cleaned my path and I'm living good and I've been living good. And, I've really put some time into getting sober and like really looking at my life and seeing, what was good and what could be fixed. And so, this new stage of life and starting these new videos again after 5 years, man, life shows up, and how we respond to adversity is really what our mark in life is about. It's not how does it look when things are great. It's like when it hits the fan, what is the character? What's our character? What are we made of? I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my progress. I'm glad I've made different decisions that I used to make, and I'm chasing good things now. So it just feels good, and I'm around really good people, and I'm not around bad people as much as I used to be. And selfish and just kind of crappy people. So I'm around people who, when you walk in their house, hey, would you like something to eat? Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? How's it going, man? Like people like that. So not comparing my career title and the bank account subtly, like who's the richest and who's got the most toys and all that stuff. That's boring. So, especially when the world is struggling, when people are struggling around us in this country so much, putting a hand out there, lending a hand and just being an ear for someone when they're going through it, because there's a lot of people are going through it and are going to go through it very shortly, economically, and how that affects the mind and a family is real. So, and, when people aren't feeling good, they drink more and they take pills and they try to feel better. And so addiction and alcoholism rates go up. So there are correlations to all of this that affected me directly that I'm just trying to share. It's not to do anything else, just to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is how I live. This is how I'm living today. And that's all it is. It's nothing more than that. You guys get to judge my performance of how I live my life. It's pretty stripped down. It's pretty transparent. So, and I do that on purpose because it's not a shtick. It's because I have to be very, very honest with myself on a daily basis, so I don't go back to the bullshit like drinking alcohol. I know it's very normal in this society, and everybody's got pressures and stresses and all that stuff. And I know pills are a very, very, very common solution also nowadays. Lots of pills, folks. Which for some reason that's not drug addiction. It is totally. It's called escaping, just like alcohol or anything else. And if I would have been able to do that stuff in moderation and have a couple drinks to finish off a nice week of work, like that's one thing. But I don't meet many people like that. I watch mostly anywhere where there's alcohol, there's usually kind of a dysfunctional family. So I know that pretty well. So, I'm just happy I woke up today with that, dude. Life is good, man. It's not that it's great. So I just hope you guys are doing great, and if you're not, you know, that's how life goes sometimes. And so I'm with you. I'm totally with you, man. Um, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up today and I'm going to do what I always do, which is try to make this a great day. And I'll fumble around and I'll come up with some things that are good. And I'll probably have to say sorry for something I did, or said that was short or, wasn't thoughtful also. So I'm not free of all the mistakes I'm pretty critical of myself, and I want to be, because the alternative is a person that I don't think is living up to his potential. And for a lot of people, that's okay. But for me, that is unacceptable. And from what I come from. So um, I'm going to give today a good day. I love you guys, subscribing to the channel and liking it. If you guys are feeling where I'm going with my messaging and just kind of what I like to share. And if not, that's totally cool. I say plenty of things, and I have principles and beliefs at this point in my life because of the life I have lived in the business world, in competitive sports, and the amount of time I've spent really deep diving and researching instead of just out there chasing cash. I've been working hard on trying to understand really what's going on, so I make better decisions, not for anybody else, so I can make better decisions, and have a better life. I just want to share that. So if there's anything that's positive, man, that's cool. And it also holds me accountable to the things I believe, right? It's like, if I'm going to say it, I'm a big proponent of, then do it. So I'm doing the same thing. You guys can hold me accountable too, right? We all hold each other accountable. That's what it's about. So I hope you guys have a great day. I'm glad to be back. I'll be sharing a lot of just all kinds of stuff, but it's well thought, and it's not random, and it's not clickbait. So I'm not interested in the latest pop culture, Taylor Swift controversy stuff. So you won't get that much here. You'll get how propaganda manipulates people, you and me, and the masses, and what Taylor Swift represents. Like, we'll talk about it on that level. So if you're interested in that, great. Um, so cool. All right, you guys, have a great day. Bradley is feeling good, man. So let's all do the same. Okay, you guys, take care.